Okay, hi. Welcome to Module 9. And in Module 9, we'll be discussing the customer service app for the Microsoft Dynamics 365. So, as a functional consultant, um, you will need to know about the customer service module on the Dynamics 365 customer engagement. It's very robust. It's one of the biggest, right? In the CE path, right? You have the sales, the extendable field service marketing. So I'll be walking us through, right? It's just a part of it in this video. Then in the next video, we'll be doing at the contact center, which still envelopes in the whole customer experience. So the CRM solution manage and revolves around customer support requests. So a large chunk of this deals with people's requests and things that are giving them issue. So from the sales end, you've sold your products, and you now need to support those products. This is where this module comes in to give those customers all the support they will need. So it's used by your help desk, call center, and service team. So for the Microsoft Dynamics call center, I'll be treating that in the next module. So it helps you also tracks interaction. So every single thing that is being done. So giving you like the 360-degree view, so that people don't just come and say, "Oh, I sent an email. Why are you still asking me about an information I've sent previously?" So this system gives you that power, right, based on the timeline of opportunities we have. So let's now proceed. All right. So the core case management process in Dynamics revolves from you create a case, right? Log it manually, or it comes via email or via self-service, maybe from a bot, as we might be seeing in the case of digital contact center. Then also routing those cases to the appropriate queues. So through the routing, then resolving the cases by tracking nodes, status, then supporting the parent and child cases and the SLA and entitlement. So that's basically the whole process, right, that we have for um, the case management process. So let's see how the case management process looks like in an environment. So let's go back to our environment. Now, the place we'll be working on for customer service, right? Your agent will be working mainly on the customer service hub, right? So let me just go to the customer service hub. So this is the customer service hub. When I click on the customer service hub, it's going to open the customer service hub panel for me. So based off of what was discussed from sales hub, all these are the same, right? Even but what we have is the dashboard for customer service are now quite different dashboards. So you could have different dashboard that speaks to different things, right? So I could click on the customer service, the connected customer service dashboard. So for connected tools, so if you have a manager also, you could have a dashboard that could speak to specific things, right, that you want. Then also you have the tier 1 and tier 2 dashboard, which gives agents like things that are active, open, as the case may be. So you could always optimize this dashboard to fit what they want. So we have accounts, just like we set their company profiles. Then you have contacts. These are individuals on your database, right, that you offer products and support to. Then you have social profiles. So let's say you have communication from Facebook, WhatsApp, as the case may be. You have the when you do your integration with your contact center, so those profiles are synced here, and you could see where the channel that those things are picked from and have them stationed here. Then the main thing here is the cases, right? So the cases is where you manually log your complaints, as the case may be, right? So let's walk through the point of case creation. So when I click on new here, so you now have the detail form, right? And this form is extendable, right? You could create more fields, add more depending on what you want, and get that done. So I've just done some customizations here. I also have used web resource to put in some JavaScript. So just to do some functionalities which I will show you now. So let's say this person has issues with upgrade. So let's say I want to upgrade my network, right? So something like this. So you just search in the customer. So you can start putting the person's name, and you could define different search criteria. So depending on the customer's request. So when I click on the customer here, the customer contact card pops up. You could also extend this contact card to suit what the customer wants to see, as things like KYC. And I could have like classifying them. These are actually custom, meaning I created them, they don't come out of the box. So what I want to do is when you set a case type, a case category, subcategory, we want a default owning department. All these are actually custom made. So let's say I select this request, right? And I select it to be upgrade. And if I select, let's say this, so you can see that it has picked the owning department. So this is where we could use options for routing, right? So I could select the origin is coming from, let's say this is a front desk. And if there are product on the system, you could select which product that this customer is making reference to. Also, there are options for entitlement. So entitlement is, let's say you have some customers that based on the plan they have with you, right? There's a number of tickets they could create in a month or different entitlements that they might be entitled to. So you could attach the entitlement here, put details. So you could just say issue with F5 load balancer, something like this. And once the person is done capturing this detailed information, you could click on save. So save is the person that created this ticket will own it. Save and close is the person that's creating this ticket will own it, but he will come back to work on it later. It will be in my active cases. Why save and route? This is where the routing part of the customer service coming. When you save and route, so the routing logic you set under your work streams will now kick in to take this case from this person down to the right queue and assign it to the right person in that queue based on the configurations you've made for the person to be able to now pick it up. We'll see that in the next slide. So let me just click on save. So that's how easy it is to create a ticket. And once the ticket is created, some things will kick in based on your configuration. So as you can see for this one now, I've set an SLA. SLA is service level agreement. So how long should it take? Different people have their timer and different things that should kick in when the SLA is created. So as you can see also, I have some automated email that needs to go out. So let me refresh this. Okay, the email is not coming up. Oh, we'll refresh this to see that. Then at this panel here, you have your recent cases, right? You also have the option of looking at knowledge articles that are already on the system that could help the agent, right, quickly resolve this complaint. So you also have the other tabs here, which is the details. So these details gives you more granular information, right, about the tickets. So things like the case details, additional details, social details. So depending on what you want to see or want to capture, you could change all these. Then there's case relationship. This is key. So when you do merger, meaning you merge two cases, they are similar. You merge one into another, meaning one swallows up another and then the other one is closed. You see those merged cases here. So let's say you have a child case, maybe an option. This case, the person it was assigned to needs to create a ticket on that department, but this one has to be the main one that the customer will be communicated through. So that other one will be the child case. So you could create a child case from this case, right? And it opens. If you click on new case here, it opens the quick create form, and you could select. Then associated knowledge. So any knowledge article that is being used and this agent tagged it that okay, it was helpful to the person and it was helpful in him working on this ticket, all those will be visible here. Then you have your SLA tab. So this will give you detail of the SLA instance that was kicked in for this ticket when it was created, right? You have the failure time. So when is it expected to fail? What's the current status of the SLA? when is the warning time? Meaning, at what point in time is it going to warn that okay, this ticket needs to be looked at as the SLA is going out. So that's just basically a quick run through of the SLA of the case creation process. At the top here is where you have the options of refreshing to see what has changed. So as you can see, this is the default email I was telling you. So this also you need to just set it based on the customer needs, right? So these are just custom emails that should go out when the case is created. So you also have the opportunity of resolving the case. This is where you want to close the ticket. You click on resolve. If you want to cancel the ticket, maybe it's no longer open for discussion, right? Or the customer doesn't even want to do anything about it again, just cancel the ticket. You could assign this ticket to a person. You could add it to a queue, make it a queue item, or create a child case, just like I showed you on case relationship. So now let's move over. So the next now is queue and routing logics. So I'm going to be showing us how queues are being created on the system, and we're going to be using a work case scenario, just like we've seen in previous modules, right? Something very extensive to show us how queues, the routing and auto assignment using skill-based logic work. So let's hit that section now. So basically, before we go into that details, so queues are like your buckets that you put individuals in, right? Then you set routing rules to send items to those queues so that persons in those queues are assigned those activities and they can work on it. So that's just basically the whole um, architecture of how queues are. So let's walk through a use case scenario that will give us details into how the routing logic works.
As usual, we'll be covering the business requirement scenario, which we always do in our videos to give us the base context of what our client is looking for. Then also we'll do an overview of skill-based routing, skill type configuration, then skill and rating skill configuration. Then I'll also do skills assignments to agent, then configure our work streams that will collect the service request and assign do the classification on them, and also assign them to a queue, and the agent in that queue that has that skill set will then receive it. Then we'll walk through a demo. So for this, as I stated earlier on, so what our business is looking out for is we want service requests that to be classified, so skills should be assigned to them, and the agents that best match the skill set needed for that service request should be the one that will receive that service request. So I have a sample picture of that. So let's say this is an example. So a case was created. Let's call this case 001. And the skills that are needed for that case is maybe Python, and this skill rating should be excellent. Then IT should the skill rating should be better. Then English, the skill rating should be good. So you have these agents that are members of your queue. So you have agent 001, agent 002, and agent 003. So agent 001 has a skill set of Python, MSI, and Spanish. And the rating for agent 001 is good, excellent, and very good for those skill sets respectively. While for agent 002, the skill sets and ratings are Python, IT, English, functional reporting, and these are the ratings. While for agent 003, the skill sets are MSI, Spanish, and English, and these are the rating. So basically, what happens with omnichannel is, for if we, for this case now we're looking for close match. So close match is it checks the best agent with respect to how close the person is to the skill sets that are required for the case. So what Omnichannel will do, Omnichannel will check across all these skill sets and look for the person that has more of those skill sets and best match to what the skill is looking for. So when we check, it was agent 2 that will be picked. Why is because so agent 2 has good, we're using best match. So what we're looking for is excellent, which is close to this. And agent 2 also has IT and English. So which are the three skills that are required for this service request? And if you could see, is the only one that has those three skill sets. So he's the best match, and based on the ratings that was given here. So we expect this service request to be assigned to agent 2. So let's just see how this works in Dynamics CRM. So I'll just give a quick demo before we go how those stuffs will be creating. So we'll go head over to Customer Service Hub, go to Cases, So I've done all the configuration for this one, but let me just do test case. I'm creating a case test case on skills, skill sets. Then I'll call this bug reports, call this functional bug, and give this to just any of my customers. Then I'll save and route. So our case sample case has been created. So let's go in and see what the case looks like. Great. So the case has been created, and as we can see, it's assigned to agent 002 CRM. So first of all, it was created by me for this customer. Omnichannel picked it up, and based on all the configuration made in the system, it was now routed, and based on the skill set, it was given to agent 002. So why was it given to agent 002? So let's check our routing diagnostics. Let me refresh this so that to pick the current case here. This is our test case on skill set. So when I click on this, yeah, good. So when we check the intake rule, pick the case for the work stream because bug reports was selected on that group. Then when we go to classification, so skill, so we saw that because of the conditions we set, that it's bug, if it's bug reports and functional bugs, it should assign Python code debugging good, IT better, and English good to the service request, which it did. Then it's routed it to the queue, which is site allocation, which the agent belongs to. Then if you could see at the assignment here, you could see nearest proficient for all skills. And the person it gave that to is agent 002. So that's basically a run through. So this is the work stream that was picked. And if you could see here, our default skill matching algorithm was closest match. So closest match is to check who is the best agent based on all the skill sets that are needed for that service request. So you could see also this is where the classification is done and this is where the intake is done. Then this is just basically our classification. So skills set skills. So if you see it to check these conditions, then attach this skill set to it. Then these are the agents that are members of this allocation. As you can see, it was given to agent 002 because when you check the bookable results for agent 002, you could see IT is the rating is good and the Python code debugging, the rating for this agent is very good. So that's basically how the system routes to agent based on the skill set you give to them and the queues they belong to and how the workstream picks it and classifies that. So this is what I'm going to show you how to configure. So I'm going to give you a walkthrough on how to configure each of the process down to so that your agents receive service requests based on the skill sets they have and based on the skill sets needed for that service request. Okay, so now we'll head back to creating all what we've seen from the previous demo. So to start off, let's just go back to a slide. So what next? So the first thing we need to do is to create the skill type. So basically what the script skill type does is to create together the skills that you want to put together. So you could classify your skills based on specific skill type. So to do that, just go back here and click on your settings icon here. Then click on advanced settings. So when we're on the advanced settings, so you click on this drop down, go to customization. So when you click on customization, click on customize the system. So maximize this. Okay, great. So we have our output. So then you go to option sets, click on option sets. Then under option set, what we're looking for is bookable resource. So click on this. So click on the bookable resource characteristics. So when I double click on this, so I have all the bookable resources. So this is where you create your skills. So so I'll just add this when I click on add. So let me just call this web stack, something like this. So when I click here, I could click save. Okay, so our stuff is saved. So what we want to do now is to let's publish this. So publish what we just saved now. Okay, great. So we're done publishing. So we just close this and also close this. Yeah. So now we're done with our skill. So let's go and confirm the skill we created. So you just click on this here, go to your customer service admin center. So on the customer service admin center, to user management, then under user management, go to your skills hub. So click on skills hub. Then under skills, just click see all. Then you can see the web stack we just created. But there's no skills yet under web stack. So this is what we just created, which is a skill. You see web stack here. So now to add skill, so you just click under skills, click on manage. So now I want to add a skill under web stack, this one. So I'll click on create. So which option am I looking for? I'm looking for web stack. So the skill name, I could just call this, I have some written down here, or operating systems, something like this, right? Then I could add users. So I want to see use agents, the agents that are inside the location key, which is agent 001, agent 002, and agent 003. So I could just, or let me finish creating the skills, then I could come add users. So this here just create the skill set. So I click on create. Then you see proceed back. Let me minimize all these other skills. Click on create here. So we're still looking at web stack. So the other skill I have here is database application. So maybe people support agents that work on the application end. Then I'll proceed also to add the last one. Just have three here, just so that we make this quick. Then web server. So these are stacks that are under the web stack. So we now have our skills already created, right? Which are all these. So now let's say um, agents 003 is good in all three of these, right? And in database, he is good with a good rating. Then for operation settings, he has is fair. Then web server is excellent. So that's basically what we call uh, the skill sets. So let me go back to user management, go back to admin. So you can see proficiency skill. So when I click on manage, so I'll have all the skill ratings that you could use for your skills. So let me create one. I'll call this web stack skill rating. So these are the ratings you could give your agent. So the maximum value is one. The minimum value is one and maximum value is five. So for one, what we have will be, let's say good, let's say fair, because it's fair enough. Let's say average. Let's say good. Let's say very good. Sorry, very good. Let's say excellent. Right. So I could click on create. So fantastic. So you could see we've created our proficiency skill. So this is what you use to rate the agents when you give them those skill sets. So now I can now go back to my skill sets and assign them to agents. So let's proceed down to web stack. So let's say so for database, let's give agent 003 and 001. So let's have agent 003. So let's 001 and 003. So I'll add agents. then I can add their proficiency. So when I click on 001, so let's say, then you go down to, can you see it's web stack skill rating. So this guy, let's say agent 001 is fair on this, and agent 003 is very good. So I could click on save. So that's done. So the next one is data operating system. So for operating system, let's give this to agent 002 and 003. Add selected. So for this, I'll add his proficiency to be excellent. Sorry, not this. Update proficiency to be excellent. And for 03, let's say it's good here under operating system. So I could click on save. Okay, so we're done with that. Close this. Then go to the last. The last is web server. So for web server, I could give, let's just give it to only agent 3. So only agent 3 is good on web server. So let's agent 3, and I'll click on add user. So when I click on proficiency, uh, agent 3 is average. Was the only one that has that skill set. So I click on save. So basically, that's how you assign skill sets to agents and also rate them on how good they are in that skill set. So we are done with creating our skill, creating the skill type, and we are done with assigning them to agents. So let's go back to our slide. So what we just did is we created the skill and the rating skill configuration. So the next is we did skill sets assignments to agents. Then now we will create our work stream configuration so that we could pick service requests that come and route it appropriately to this agent. So what we'll do is I'll go to work streams. So I'll just click on new work stream. So let's call this web skill work streams. So something like this. So the record will be records. This is some case we wanted to push, and what the default to fall to um, all users if the conditions are not met. So click on create. So our work stream is created. So let's create our intake rule for this work stream. So what we just do is let's keep it very simple. So uh, web skill intake, just call it something like this. So our condition will add a row, and so for this, I'll just say if any of the group is selected, so this workstream should pick it up. So where's the group? This group and equal to this or this or this. So what should it do? It should route it to this workstream, and the workstream we're looking at for is web skill workstream. So create. So that this is picked first, so I'll click on this and move it to the top so that this will be the, no, not this, sorry. So see more, and I'll move it to the top, this, so that it will be the first that will be evaluated to the top, to the top. Okay, good. So now I go back, and if I click on see more again now, you could see that it's the one on the top. So this will be the first intake rule that will be evaluated so that it will pick the service request when they come in. So the next is I want to classify it and apply. So classification is where you apply your skills to the service request so that it can be given to the appropriate agent. So I'll create rule for classification, create a new. So I'll call this set skills and case. So you could also use a machine learning model. So we'll have a video session on how you could create a machine learning model for your skill sets and also apply that. So we'll do that in a subsequent video. But for this, we'll just be using the logical rule. So I'll click on create. Okay, so our work classification set is created. So now we just create a rule. So what do we want to do? Rule call this web stack, web stack rule. So what we want to do is want to check if group, let's use the same thing. If any of this is selected, right, it should classify case. So you see, you go to skills. So what are the skills you want to apply to this now? You come here. So I want to put web server. Want to put, uh, let's say good. So that the person should be good on web server. The person should be good on database, and the person should be good on, let's say, operating system. So we are expecting this, any case that comes here should go to agent 003 because he's the one that has all these skill sets, and on averages you could see that he has these skill sets and he surpassed the skill rating that's required for it. So we just click on save and close. So what we're saying is if a case is created, what should be this skill set should be assigned if any of these are selected for the group. So I could click on create. So this is our classification. So you go back to your work stream, then we are all done on that. So when the work stream is when the case is now classified, the next thing is for us to assign it to a queue, assign to agent queue. So click on create. So now we'll create our rule. Queue, let's just call this queue rule. So what we're looking for is the same thing. So if the group is any of that, equals to this or this or this. So what do we want it to do? We want it to route it to a queue, and that is size allocation where agent 003, 002, and 001 are members. So it should route it to this queue. Click on create, and then we're done with that. Then the last thing we need to configure is our default skill matching. So what we want here is we want our we want it to be close match, so not exact match. So exact match, we check that the conditions you set for the skill set, the agent must have it before the agent will receive that service request. Why close match? It is to check the best count of who has the most closest skill set needed for that service request. So I'll just put on close match, and I'll leave everything as default, and I'll click on save and close. So great. Now we are done with configuring our skills, configuring work streams that will pick them up, and routing it to the appropriate agent. So now let's quickly do a test and see how our stuff looks like. So I'll hover here and I'll click on go to customer service hub, just like the way we did initially on the start of the video. The customer service hub. So great. So I go to cases. Uh, it's coming up. So good. So I'll click on new. So I'll say test case for web stack skills, right? So the group will just make a bug. This one put a functional bug, and I'll give it to this customer. Then I'll just save and route. So you're going to ask me if I want to route. Yes, I'll route this. Great. So let me go to all cases so I could see it even when it's no longer assigned to me. So it's kicking off. So now we could go to our routing diagnostic to see how the routing is going. So when I click on this, so I could see test case. Can you see the status? So intake rule is completed. So if I refresh this, so you see route to queue is completed. So if I refresh this, still working. So just give it some time so that when it's done, to assign it to the appropriate agent. Yeah, so as you can see now, it's completed. It has assigned it to an agent. So you could troubleshoot from here. You can see we gave it to assigned agent is this. So the work stream is web skill work stream. The queue allocation is site allocation record. So you could troubleshoot and see what actually happened there. So when I click on this, yes, so I can see it's picked it to work stream, and these were the skills that are required: web server good, database good, operating system good. Then you gave it to this queue, and this agent was given. So when you click on this, you could see everything that went through. So let's confirm and see who this service request is currently assigned to. So when I go here, I click on this. Fantastic. So you see now, agent 003 has received the service request, and you could track all what happened here. First, it was created by me for this customer. It was picked by omnichannel, route through their work stream, then assigned to the best agent that had the skill sets necessary for the service request. So that's basically how you configure skill sets in Dynamic CRM, and configure your work streams and classify those service requests so that agents that are very good in those skills that service request needs are the ones that service requests are assigned to. And with that, you'll be able to increase the quick turnaround time, also increase the quick quality of service requests that your customers will be getting from agents that are supporting them.
So that's basically the extensive use case, right, on queues and routing logic you should have on the system. Then SLA and entitlement. So SLA is your service level agreement, right? So this defines how long it should take for certain response to be made and things like that. It's easy to track KPIs. Then entitlement also is the limit of service quantity you should give a a customer. So basically, we're going to be also working through a use case for SLA that will give you granular details. So why this will be like a business process, right? And we'll see how our SLA kick in. So let's quickly just get into the use case for service level agreement.
Through a business scenario to give a full picture of what we're standing to solve and the business standpoint and what they're looking out for. Then I'll walk you through KPI creation, SLA configuration. Then we'll also go to advanced queue workstream configuration. Then we'll deal with the escalation tracking field creation. So this will be the field that will help us capture changes as they move from one level to another when the SLAs are missed. Then we'll do the advanced SLA configuration. So let's hit the ball running. So I'll just put it straight to the business requirement. So the business requirement here wants us to move a service request from a customer from one agent to another when the service level agreement is missed. So if agent A received a service request, and at some point in time he was not able to resolve the service request at a speculated time, which is the turnaround time which the company has set for that kind of request. We want to move it from that agent to another higher agent. So that would be like the different hierarchy, unlike the normal convention where you have in which this SLA will be missed and maybe a notification will be sent or something. For this business case scenario, they want you to move that service request from that agent to another agent. So that's basically what the business is looking for. And that's what we're going to walk through. So straight up, we're going to be going through to our KPI creation. And before we go to our KPI creation, let's review the escalation matrix that this business we're working on already has. So this was the same escalation matrix I used in the advanced form configuration. So you can check out that video. It was very good. That guides you through how it sets subjects and do a lot of fun stuff with JavaScript in terms of manipulating your forms in Dynamics CRM. So, but for this session today, we're just walking through the escalation, which covers from support level, that's column C to column F. So what it's saying is when any service request matches this rule, so let's say the service request was group, the group was bug report, and the breakdown was any of this, it should be assigned to someone in the bug report team, and an SLA of 2 minutes should be applied to the service request. So if 2 minutes expires and this agent was not able to resolve this request that came in, it should be moved to an agent in bug report team level 2, and an SLA should of 5 minutes should be added to it. So that will be the hierarchy of how everything will flow for all this level of support that we have based on this kind of service request that came in. So directly now, we'll just move over to our environment where we'll create the KPI based on the business case scenario. So for this business now, we'll be using just the resolve by and not necessarily first response, because what we just have here is turnaround time, which is resolve SLA. So let me go to my environment. Click on this. So now I'm currently on the customer service admin center in the environment, which is where we make all our configurations for the customer service hub system. So I'll scroll down to operations, and under operations, I'll go to service terms. So the first thing you do before creating an SLA, you must create a KPI. So the KPI is tracks the performance indicator which you use in your SLA. So I'll just click on manage. It will have a blank list here. So I'll click on new. So I'll call this resolution KPI. Then the entity we want to look at here is case. So just click on case entity. Then the KPI feed, we have first response by and we have resolve by. So what we want to look at is resolve by. There's a resolve by KPI I want to track. Then we want this to be applicable from when it was created. So you have a lot of space to start tracking from. So you can track from created, deactivated, escalated on, first response by, followed by, last on hold time. So what we want to track for this is created on. So I'll just click on created on, then I'll click on save. Yes. So my KPI is created. Also, if you want to have options in which your SLAs can be paused, that's where you use the pause condition criteria, where you can click here and it will give you the options of adding conditions where you could actually pause your SLA. So let's say for our own scenario now, let's just add something. When the status of the case is status reason, it's on researching, so or waiting for feedback from the customer itself. So we should pause our SLA. So let's just call it status reason. Status reason. Scroll down to status reason. Yeah, this if it's equal to waiting for details. So let's say the agent requested for details from the client, so it should pause the SLA. So I can just leave only just this condition, which we'll test later. Then I'll just save and close. So once you save and close, our SLA is not still here because that SLA is not yet active. So for us to be able to use it, we need to activate it. So I click on inactive SLA KPI. So and I click on this, I'll be able to activate it. Click on activate. So done. Our SLA record is now active and we can't make any changes here again. It becomes read only. Then I'll just go back, and if I switch back to the active SLA KPI view. I'll see the SLA KPI we just created here. So when you're done with your SLA KPI, now you can proceed to create your SLA itself. So I'll go back to service terms and click on service level agreement manage. Click on manage here. Yeah. So this is what we have. So what we want to create now is uh, two XLS level, because we'll have one which is the base agent receiving it, and we'll have the second one which is for the escalated level. So I'll just click on new and I'll call this base agent SLA. So these are the SLAs that will be given to the case when they just come in. So this will be tracked on our case. So I'll save this. Good. Then now, so for this base level SLAs, right, we have some SLAs already given. So we have that for any of these requests that comes in, basically you want to give it to this person and assign 2 minutes to it. So we'll go back here and create a new XLA item. So just click on your new XLA item here. So this comes out. So I can just call this, let me copy what I have here, bulk report SLA. Go back here. So call this bulk reports SLA. Then the KPI now. So the KPI we created for this is resolution KPI this. So you can leave everything as default. For our case, we're not having business hours, but based on the working hours that you have for that operation, so you need to specify that here. Basically, by creating it, then you call it here from your service scheduling. So we'll just leave everything as this. Then now, when will this SLA kick off? So it's applicable from when? So based on our criteria here, we can see that the SLA is applicable if group field is equals to bug reports and the breakdown is any of this. So since the breakdown is any of this, I'll just only pick when group field is equal to bug reports, this SLA should kick in for that service request. So I'll just come here and click on add row. So what we're looking for is group. It's a field, custom field created, group on the cases, and we said if it's equals to bug reports, then this SLA should kick in. Then the resolution, this is resolved by KPI, so we want to check when the status is resolved. This SLA will be termed as successful. So when the status is resolved, so this SLA will be termed as successful. So for the pause configuration, we already have one in our KPI, so there will no need for us to right in here. Then what is our one time and failure time? According to the business, they want this SLA to fail after 2 minutes of no resolution. So when I go back here and I click on this, so our one time we want to make it half the failure time. So I'll do this and I call this 2 minutes. So call this 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Great. So with this, we're done with configuring the SLA. Then I'll just save this and close. Great. So now we have our SLA that we just created here. So we've created the first one, which was bug report. So now we'll create for products improvement and also create for new product feature request. So just minimize this, go back here, click on new item. So this time let me just copy this here. Okay, so this is the SLA we want to create. SLA, and as usual, it's resolution, KPI, leave everything as default. So this we want it to be applicable when group is equals to product improvement requests. So group equal to product improvement request, just this. Then resolve also should be when the status is resolved. That's when this SLA should be succeeded. So status equals resolved. Yeah, so with this, and from our chart they're giving, we have 3 minutes for SLA. So what we'll be having here will be um, 9 90 minutes, 90, no, sorry, 90 seconds. Let me just make it one. Okay, let's put our one time for 1 minute here. And failure time for this case is 3 minutes. So basically that's what we have. Good. So your one time generally it's just an alert system that begins to beep the SLA when it's reached a certain time. So let me just make this 2 minutes so that after 2 minutes it begins to look and beep on the service request that, that this needs to be looked at by the agent. So when we're done with this, then I'll just click on save and close as we did for previous one. Then we'll create the last one, which is the new product feature request. So just copy this and come here and click on new item. And as usual, so we're looking for to create a new product request SLA. And the KPI we're looking out for is the resolution KPI. Then also our applicable from is when our group field is equal to new product feature. So when our group looking for group field equal to new product feature, great. Then success, as I stated earlier on, so success is at what point or what action should or state the service request to have in which we will be notified that this SLA was actually met and succeeded. So for this is once the status of the case was moved from is moved to resolved, then it means the SLA was um, successful based on all the operations that happened on the second. So display on status, and we have result. When we're done with this, so for this one we have 4 minutes. So we can just put this also 3 minutes, then have 4 minutes here. Good. Then you can save and close as usual. So we have our base SLA now created for all the use cases that we're given, just as we can see here. So we'll proceed to activate this, activate this. So we also confirm that I want to activate this base SLA. So click on activate. So it's processing that. Yes, so our SLA, which is the base agent SLA, is now activated. So since this is the base SLA that will be picked by every request, to do this check before assigning it. We'll set this base SLA as the default. So I just click on the set as default here. So when I click on set as default, then it requests me to confirm. I'll say yes. Yes, so this is now set as default. Then I could just go back, and as you can see now, this is the SLA we just created, and the SLA items are in it. So let's test this SLA we created. So let me just duplicate this tab. So after duplicating this, we want to go to the customers service hub where we could access the case creation field. So I just click on this app, which is the customer service hub. So you click on it and it open up the customer service app. So great, we're on a customer service hub. Then we just navigate to cases. So when I click on cases here to open up the case active view for me. So my active cases. So I'll just click on new. So let's test the SLS we just created and see them at work. So I'll just I'll just call this test SLA item 1. Then the group we're looking out for is bug reports and any of the bug reports. So just click on functional bugs. So we have it here appearing as our subject based on what there's JavaScript written behind this to do this for us. It's in the other video on advanced form configuration. You can check that out, very cool. And also the um, JavaScript code is also attached to the video. So when we're done this, I'll just select customer. So let me just use this customer name here and leave everything as default. So when I click on save, so great. So when we're done saving, you could see our SLA has now kicked off, which is this field here, which is resolved in. So this will give the countdown on how many minutes or how long it's required for this service request to be resolved by this agent. And if it's not resolved, this is going to fail and see actually expired here, written in resolve in. So as you can see, we set 2 minutes for bug reports. That's why we're having that countdown now. So also, let's just watch this fail. Then I'll create the second one for us to view also. Refresh this so you can see. So can you see this is where what the one time brings to you? So nearing expiry. So that's what the one time does. So when we hit 1 minute, that's why this came up. I have to just refresh. So you can see that when this is done, so just give that some seconds, and that will be all on the Excel countdown. So just see what does it look like here when this expires. Great. So when I refresh this again, I'll see that expired here coming up, trying to load. Yeah, so when this is now loaded correctly now, so you can now see resolve in the SLA was expired. That means these agents did not resolve this service request for the stipulated time given by the business to resolve this kind of request. So and as you can see also, it will still remain with this agent. But in this our business case scenario, they request us to escalate this once it's expired for the first agent was given to, let it be moved automatically to the next agent, which is that's the escalation matrix. So to do that now, okay, let's just do a test scenario and see how about if this SL is met. So let me just go back here and create a new case. I'll call this tests SLA item 2, and this time I'll be giving it to bug improvement requests, and I'll call this performance, still the same customer. Then I'll just click on save. So as you can see now, SLA is passed to it, and the timer is already counting down. So now remember that our resolve in, we need to change the status to resolve. And when that is done, that's when this service request has been resolved and the customer is already happy with and done with the resolution given. So I will just click here to see the current status. So the timer is still running. So I'll just resolve this service request. So I'll go down to resolve. Sorry, here, resolve case. So for this problem was resolved. And just say case resolved. Resolved. Then click on resolve. So once we're done resolving, we can then see that this service request is resolved. Everything's now read only, and our resolve in status is now succeeded because we're able to resolve this case before the timer ran out of time. So now back to our configuration. So remember that we have another level of escalation if the first one was not met. So now we're going to create the KPI buckets for this level, support level 2 escalation. So just go back to SLAs and create a new. So I'll call this support level 2. Then the entity we're looking at is case. I click on save. Okay, so now we have our support level 2 SLA. But before we can escalate to these guys, there will be some conditions we might need to look at to show that the service level request has left this to this. So we need to update each of those records. So to do that, we need to add a field on our form, which we'll call escalated level, so as to track the level the SLA is currently on. So to do just that, we just go over, let's go to our solutions. So click on advanced here. I'll just go to make the power come, make the power come. So using make the power come, ensure that you navigate to the right environment and also want to go to the right solution. So click on solutions. So when you click on solution, so I already have the custom solution which we created from our previous video on advanced web configuration. So I'll just use that. So go into your solution. Then the form one to have want to edit is the one of cases. So I click on cases, which is the table, navigate down, click on columns, then just add a new column. So I want to call this escalated level. So this would be a type of integer, so it would be numbers, whole number. Then keep everything as default. This would be the current level of support needed for the case. So just keep this like this. Then this required and optional. And I'll leave everything as default and click on save. So when we're done saving, the next thing we want to do is our form. We want to apply them on our form. So we're using the uh, case for interactive experience. So I'll click on that form. So now the field you're looking for is escalated level, this one. So let's wait for our form interface to load up. Okay, so our form interface is loaded now. So where we want to drop this is under details, the details tab, and under additional details. So let's drag this here. Very good. So we have our escalated level now. Also, we want to lock this so that we'll make it only read only, so that no one can edit this. Only it will only be edited by the system. Just what we'll be doing with the Power Automate. So I could save and publish. Yeah, so we're done saving and publishing. Then the next, let's just review what we've added to our form. So go back here to your cases, click on cases, and try creating a new case. Then you just check the details tab, and you should see your escalated level. So let's refresh the whole of this so as to pick what we just published. You're great. So I'm gonna click on this now. So yeah, we can see our escalated level now here, and the escalated level is empty. So now we then proceed back. So our SLA. So now we will now create the SLAs for this. So what we are doing is we'll check if the SLA level is 1. If it's 1, that means it's going to the next support level. And we'll also then check the group before we pick the necessary SLA in the SLA support level 2. So I'll just go here. I'll automate this. So these are the base agents. So let's call this. Let me just rename this to support level escalation, something like this. So I could click on save. Yeah, so this name looks much better. So now let's add our SLA items just as we were given from the business case scenario. So if it's bug reports, 5 minutes. If it's product improvement request, 6 minutes. If it's new product feature, it should be 5 minutes. But you should also put it in consideration that this SLA starts counting based on when it was first created, which is what our KPI is looking at. So to be able to get this 5 minutes, you need to add this 2 minutes that's expired to 5 minutes to get the SLA time, what the timer will be counting down from, to be able to get 5 minutes. Because if you put just 5 minutes on your failure time, it will remove this 2 minutes. So what this angels will be having will just be 3 minutes. So with that being cleared, so let's go back to our SLA item. So I'll click on new SLA item. Just go back here, copy this like this, and I'll go here and click on this one. So the KPI I'm looking out for is uh, resolution, resolution KPI, then applicable when I want it to be now a group because I'm looking at two things, add a group, and two of them must be together, which is the and. So what we're looking at for is group when the group of the case equals bug reports and escalated level. So escalated level equals to 1. So when group is bug reports and the escalated level value is 1, so this KPI should pick it, this KPI SLA item should keep picking. So as always, also our success condition will be if the status is resolved. So pick status. If status of our case is resolved. Sorry, status of our case is resolved. We're going to make the SLA successful. So as I stated earlier on, for this we have 5 minutes, so it will be 5 plus 2. If you don't want to add the SLAs, so what you do is you have a separate KPI for this, and what you'll be tracking will be when it was first escalated. So with that also, but if you now have additional escalation level, you need to then still use the addition of the previous SLA that's elapsed. So for this, we'll be having 5 plus 2, which will be 7. So go back here, and what I'm looking out for is this. We can make this, let it run at 5 minutes and escalate, and it should fail at 7 minutes. Or let me put this at 4 minutes one time. So at 4 minutes to start notifying the agents that this is getting close to expiration. Then at 7 minutes, it's going to change it from the timer down to expire if the service request was not resolved before 7 minutes countdown. Then I'm going to click on save and close. Then the next is for, yes, product improvement requests. Click this, go here, click on new item, then this SLA, sorry, escalated SLA. Then our KPI is resolution KPI. Then I'll call this group. So now I'm looking at group, and I want the group to be product improvement. And also we're looking at escalated level, and this also should be 1. Then as usual, our success is on status. So if the status is resolved, then the SLA was met. And for this, it's 6 plus 3, which is 9. So do 9 minutes here. No, sorry, we do, let's say, 5 minutes here. Then failure time, which is the SL itself, countdown, will be 9 minutes. So when this is done, I'll do save and close. So I'm done saving and closing. Then I'll create the last SLA item, which is this one. New product request. Click on new product request. So when I click on this, click on add. So this escalated, escalated SLA, then resolution KPI. Great. Then what we're looking at for is not single, it's add a group, and we're looking for group. The group for selected for the case is new products, and our escalated level is equals to 1. Then we should have this SLA being applied. Then the success condition, as we stated earlier on for this one, is when the status is resolved. So you could make your success conditions more complex as the case may be, but we'll just be leaving it as the business case scenario gives. So for this, we also have 9. So what I'll do is go back here and put 9. Excuse me. So let's say we have 5 here. Or let's say 4. Start running at 4. So you can have your one time at any given time. So I could then put 9 to give the full blown SLA. Then let me make this 8, something like this. So I could save and close. So now we're done with all this SLA. Now, so we don't have our SLAs, but when this expires, the business scenarios want us to reapply a new SLA, which is this support level escalation. So for us to be able to reapply them, we need to reroute these cases and update them. The cases that pick this SLA, we need to reroute them and apply the next SLA to that same case. So that's basically what we'll now be doing next. And this is where the SLA, advanced SLA configuration comes into play. And to do this, we'll be using Power Automate. So first of all, we need to deactivate this SLA, because if you don't deactivate the SLA, you won't be able to make any edits. So now, for each of these SLA, we are going to open up its Power Automate configuration and do some couple of things there, which will revolve around we picking the service, the specific service request that was this the SLA was applied on, update that record, and apply the next SLA. So to do that, you click on this configure actions. So when we click on the configure action, it brings us to a Power Automate end. So the first thing, just connect as is requested. So now we have these two flows that comes up. Do not delete any of this. So what we're just going to do is add our conditions to make us achieve what the business is looking for. So the first thing is we want to get the case that this SLA was invoked on. So I'll just click on add action. And what I'll be doing is I'll be getting row by ID, get row by ID. Yeah, so to get row by ID, I'll go with this, which is for the Microsoft Dataverse. So I'll click on this get row by ID. The table we're looking at for is cases. So just type cases here, and cases comes out. Then the row ID we're looking at is the output that was passed from this. So just click on this, and I'll do regarding. Regarding value. This. So this is the unique value of the record that this service request was applied on, associated with. So I just click on regarding. So basically, what's happening is we are getting the record that this service request was applied on. So when we get that, so we are done. We now have the record. So the next is the switch. So this switch is the is near compliance. This is our actually our one. So when one time kicks in, this will be triggered. If it succeeded, this will be triggered. Why if if it expired, this will be triggered. So this is where we want to work on, such that if the service the SLA is expired, we want to update the service level. So you update it to go to one, so that it now knows that it's going to the next level support, and then we'll reroute it out of the current agent back into the work stream. So we're going to create a work stream that will pick service requests like this and then route it to the appropriate queue. So I'll click on this. So it's a non-compliant. So I'll click on add action. So the first thing I want to add here will be update record. So update row record. So what we hope to do with this update row is to change the escalated level to 1. And not Excel, please. Delete this. Okay. So I want to update row, update row, update a row, and this will be done on Dataverse. So just give it some time to come up. Yeah, so look out for update a row, but the one on Dataverse. So I click on Dataverse. Then it asks me which table I'm looking at for. I'm looking at for cases, cases. Then what's the row ID? So the row ID will be this that we just captured from here, the get row by ID. So I'll just click on this and I'll go to my case. Just type case here. So you see the unique identifier of the case. I'll click on this. Then now, which field do we want to update? Remember, I want to change it to 1 for the escalated level. So I'll click on this additional drop down and look for escalated level, which is this escalated level, and change and put 1 here. Then we are done with this action. Then the next action is once we've updated this to one, we want to move this case out from the current agent back into the work stream so that it will be assigned to another person, move into another work stream and assigned to another queue and a member of that queue, which is the support level 2 escalation agent. So to do that, we'll need the outbound um, action. So I'll do perform an unbound. So let this come home unbound action. So give this some time. Yeah, so you select the perform an unbound action for the Microsoft Dataverse. So the action I want to perform is apply routing rule. So let me just type this here. Apply, oh sorry, apply routing rule, this one. So apply routing rule will take case out. Okay. So the target is that specific case, which will be incidents. And in this case, we're looking out for the case we just picked, which is this, and we close this. So we're done with the routing rule. So this will help to move the case out from the current owner and move it back into the routing rule set, which the workstream will pick it up. And once the workstream picks it up, it will be applied to the queues that was assigned to that workstream. And the queue assigned to that workstream will then move it to one of its agents. So when we're done moving it in that form, the next we want to do is to apply the SLA one, since we've updated this to one. So to apply the SLA, first of all, we need to list all the SLAs on our system. So list rows so that we could pick the SLA we're looking at for to apply. So list rows. Yeah, so list rows. So use list row from for Dataverse. Then which table are we looking at for? We're looking for SLAs. SLAs. Very good. Then now we want to filter the row. So we want to look for the one that the name is equal to this name we have here. So let me just save and close this. Save and close. Yeah. So I want to look out for the one that the name is equal to this, which is escalated. Ensure that the name is same with what you're giving it. So let me just copy this. So go back to my flow and say on filter rows name equals, then put it in quotes. Yes, equals escalation, support escalation level. So what you do is it will go to the SLA entity, pick out all the SLAs there, but only return back the one that the name is equal to support level escalation, which is what we're looking out for. So when we pick out that, then the next we'll do is to apply what the returns we have here on this case that we have. So to do that, since we are listing a lot of rows, so we just apply to each. So apply to each. Great. So we do apply to each. Click on apply to each here. So the output we're looking for is this list row. So we do the values from the list row. Then the action we want to do is to update our case. So do update a row, and we're looking to update a row in Microsoft Dataverse. So yeah, so we're updating a row in Microsoft Dataverse, which is this one. So I click on this. So now which table are we looking out for? Not on relate rows. This is wrong. Let's delete this. Yep. So we're looking out for update a row. Yep. So update a row Microsoft Dataverse. This. So we're looking out for cases, and the ID is case, just the one we called out. So just go down here to case, the unique identifier. Then um what I want to update now is the SLA of this case. So I'll go down, yeah. So go down to SLA, yeah, this one. So for this now, I'll type in SLAs, then put in the SLA that I actually want to um, pick in, which is the one we just picked on. So what I'll do is just do here and do SLAs, and I'll pick the returns from the SLA that we just have. Just do SLA from the list where you need to identify of the SLA. Then I'll close this. So with this now, we are done with our process automation to be able to pick out the case from the current owner once the SLA is expired and move it out to the app to another agent in the next escalation level. So with this now, I can save. So our flow is saved successfully. Then now I could just close this. And I'm going to repeat the same for product improvements. So I just click on product improvement, then navigate down to configure actions. So click on configure actions. So I'll just do this. I'll repeat the same procedure for the first for both of them. Um, so as not to make the video very lengthy. So I just pause the video here and configure at the backend. Okay, so now that our Power Automate flow is ready, what we then need to do now to close that up is to create the work streams that will pick those requests when they're routed back to the queue and assign them to an agent. So what I will just do is I'll go to work streams. So let's just create a new work stream. So for this one, I'll say escalated, escalated SLA case. So the type is record and its case push. And let's just give it, so I have a queue that has some agents in it. So let me just put it to site allocation support record and click on create. So we created our escalated support cases. So we'll just be doing for the first one. So create an intake rule. So just call this route escalated cases. So for this one, what I want to pick is if it's a case first of all, okay, let me do if group in case equals bug reports and escalated level equals 1, then it should route it to this work stream, escalated support cases. Create. So I also move this up so that it should get first traction. So once we've moved it up, so we just go back. So we have our intake rule ready, and also our fallback rule. We just want to use the default queue we had. So I've already created a queue called site allocation, and it has three members in it. So I'll just go to queue. So you just see when I go to queue, I go to advanced queues, then site allocation support record. So you could see I have three agents here. So what's going to happen is once the case is created with budgets, with bug reports, excuse me, and the SLA expires, so one of these agents should pick it up. Once the SLA expires and is escalated, and should pick it up with the new escalation SLA that was given. So now let's test that now real quick. So go back here. So all that is done, our workstream is set. So go back to cases, click on this, and now let's test and save. So I'll click on new case. So do test escalation case set. So I'll call this bug reports. It's security, same customer. I'll just save this. So save and watch it expire. I'll just pause the video so it expires, then I'll resume it back. So that the length will not be much, but we're going to track everything that happens here up to when the case owner changes to one of the agents we had from that queue. So as you can see, our SLA has picked up. So we'll watch the SLA expire. So we'll see all the track of every operation that will be going on here. So let's watch and wait the SLA to expire. So as you can see, our SLA expired and the new SLA has been applied. So when you go to your case details, you can see also that escalated level has changed to 1. So also wait for the new agents to be assigned to it. So let's just refresh this. Yeah, so you can see the allocation is being done here by omnichannel. So still refresh. So still wait for omnichannel to assign it to an agent. We can see that the escalate has been moved to the site allocation queue, and the SLA, the new SLA is already kicking in. So as you can see now, it has been applied to agent 001, and also you could keep track of how everything went through. So first of all, it was created by me. After that, omnichannel moved it to the site allocation queue, and after moving it, it was then assigned to the agent. So basically, this is how you could automate the process of when SLA is missed. It can be routed from one agent to another based on your escalation matrix. And you can see also this agent did not answer the request, and also the SLA is expired. So basically, you could still have for the next level escalation, as the case may be, based on your business model.
So that's basically how we configure SLA in detail, right? For customer service and to have it applied on our system. So now knowledge management. So knowledge management is where you have your centralized knowledge, right? Repository that could help the agents access the customer. They could search. So on the case form, just like I showed you earlier on, you have a point where you could just go into it, right? And you can see it here, right? When you click here, it gives you access to knowledge resources available. And to create knowledge article under the knowledge section here, if you click on knowledge article, you have a list of knowledge articles that are already available, right? And also there's option for you to create the new knowledge article to save them and publish. You put in things like title, keywords, description. So you just have just the way you have your Microsoft Word, right? That's how you could pass in this information here and customize it. So let's see one of our knowledge articles. Let me just discard this. So let's say I click on install a water filtration system. So if I click on this, if you come here, you see details on the things that can be done. So that's basically how knowledge articles are provisioned on the system for your agents to be able to use. So you can publish them in multiple languages and have feedback scoring for them. So your customer service hub features, right? Just like I showed you earlier on. So what we have the insights points where you could get a dashboard view of um, cases on the system. Okay, there's no dashboard here, but this is where the dashboard generated. Let me get another environment to see that. Let's just quickly have this run. Okay, that also is not a provision, but basically this is where you come to see the out of the box Power BI dashboard, right? That's available for cost for you to view. Okay, things like uh, number of tickets, what are the volumes. So also for your knowledge analytics, so to see how your knowledge base is being used, right, by your agents, to see the search that have been going on, what's the count. So you have all those things here. Then for the customer assets, right, you have things like IoT. So if your customer is dealing with Internet of Things, right, you could have those assets captured here. Then you could also have other customer assets aside those one IoT captured here. Then you have your email template and email signature. So when the agent wants to design templates that they will use for quick response, right? This is where they come to create those templates, and you could see how the template looks like here, right? Information will be captured when those templates are called upon. You could also have signatures, right? To be captured on the system. So you also have the scheduling part of things. So resource, facility and equipment. So you could capture the different facility and equipment that you have and that needs to be stated on the system, and so other various ones. Well, you also have the help and support where you could reach out to Microsoft for ideas and to pitch your ideas, hear from community, and also the help center. So that's basically the features that we have available on the Microsoft Dynamics Customer Service Hub. So let's move back and look at next. So reporting and insight is the report I showed us on the insight, right? Which cuts across the customer service um, historical dashboard. You also have the agents and you also have by topics, but this has not been generated. But when it's generated, you see them here. This will take up to 24 hours. But once you provision your own environment and you toggle it on, it will generate here and you'll be able to see those dashboard in views. So basically, the Dynamics 365 customer service workflow, it helps you to make process seamless for your agents. That's one of it. Also, it helps business management to see what those agents are doing, which is where SLA and KPIs come in to see that okay, your customer experience is true. What you use to determine customer experience, it's more on things like the SLAs. So when I reach out to a company, I'm more concerned on when they will get my issue resolved, right? And that's the things that impact SLA. So the next we'll be looking at the omni-channel, which is more of the contact center for Microsoft. So stay tuned and see you in our next video.